Now, talking about reality, you have just told me that, well, you grew up in not a poor home, but you were writing lines that are supposed to appeal to people from poor backgrounds, or talking about street life, hustler life. You have something you wrote in 2011, I think you call it Blues, is that what you call it?
Yeah, Charlie.
Yeah, where you talk about, I miss me feeling free, climbing on a mango tree. Did you really suffer? Because that was a line.
Those are suffering? Is that a description of suffering or the freedom of a child? How does the typical Ghanaian child exist?
Gary soakings for breakfast, noodles for dinner. For supper, yeah. Was that something you lived as a child, or this is just something you talk about to resonate with the people on the street?
My next door neighbor in Medina had a mango tree. We used to climb it. We had a guava tree. We climbed it. People even break their bones and go to the hospital.
Okay.
These are lived experiences. You see, I think sometimes one thing I consider as a privilege as well is being from a place of access, but also living in a space that also allowed me to experience Ghana in multiple layers.
Mm-hmm. So you've seen both worlds.
Yeah, so I'm not claiming that I was starving. I'm claiming that Gary soakings for breakfast is not a lie. I'm climbing the mountain. It's not a lie. It is. So there are various points of, I think, connectivity. I didn't grow up in an estate.
but my point, so was it difficult appealing to people who really, truly ate Gary soakings for breakfast, lunch, and dinner? And this will be Gary soakings without groundnuts and milk.
Yeah, but I think, for instance, that song is not about Gary soakings, nor the experience of eating Gary soakings. It is not about suffering either, okay. So let me correct you. It's about nostalgia.
Okay.
It's about remembering the past and how you grew up. And sometimes as we grow up and you experience more things like paved roads, etc., and things that we think are advancements, it doesn't feel as free as the little things that we had growing up. When we were growing up, all the roads were dusty, but we used to ride our bikes on where they would put the mounts and stuff, and enjoyed it. It was so much fun. But I want paved roads, but now it doesn't feel as much fun. So it was a song about nostalgia. So to pick it apart with that would be a distraction in terms of what it actually is. And lastly, I think the power of empathy and the power of being an artist is sometimes using points of empathy or points of connectivity to communicate. You understand? Making great music is not the preserve of anybody by virtue of being poor.
Okay.
Who told that lie?
That's a line I'll be quoting you on. The music industry and COVID-19. You did an interview in which you said the next big thing will be in London on May 28th. You said it's going to be an unforgettable party. I'm going to bring a refreshing and vibrant set that will feel familiar but very different to what folks experience from the current wave of popular African music. You talk about a concert that was coming up in London. I'm sure that definitely didn't happen because of COVID-19, did it?
I was smiling when I heard you read back my own words. Clearly, with all my talents, the prophecies were not one of them.
And COVID prophecies did not work with you.
Absolutely not. No, it did not. Okay.
How did that affect you? Because this was like a grand thing you talked about. I can't even pronounce the name of the place where the concert was going to be. It's XOYO. How is that pronounced?
XOYO.
Okay.
Yes.
How big a disappointment was it for you that never happened? And to think that you said this in March, and then there was a lockdown a few weeks later, and then it never came.
I know, right? And we're still in the same year. I can't even look back at it as a long forgotten past. I don't look at it as disappointment. I think I've been around long enough to know that I have to adapt to challenges. I think I was quick to really reconfigure my mind, not to focus on what are missed opportunities, but to focus on what can be done. Because this was being faced by everybody in the world. What kind of selfish person would I be to be sitting there moaning and groaning about an individual disappointment? No, there's something going on that's larger than me. I have to. When you do those kind of things, it helps you reconfigure quickly, and that's what I did. So I'm not out here crying over spilt milk, not in the least. Yeah.
But you lost money.
But I'm still alive.
but you may have lost a gallon or two of petrol.
I have so much of my life to live.
Because I believe aside the money, there's more that you are going to get from a concert like that. And I'm sure you had several other things planned. And I'm sure it's really a big deal. Reading this quote, it was really a big deal for you. And I'm sure you're not the only one who's disappointed. Several other people, not disappointed, you don't want to use that word, but so many other people may have had big plans.
It pain us. It pain me. I mean, if that's what you want me to admit.
Just admit it.
Because you're trying very hard.
It pain you, but I don't go cry.
Yeah, no.
Have you costed COVID-19, as in how it has affected you? Have you costed it in, say, monetary terms, if you like?
No, not yet, because I still have a couple of moves to make this year. And I think we have to create some opportunities out of these disappointments and problems. And they are still, so I haven't costed it out. I just definitely know the stream of income has been, especially from the shows, we know is 0 to none. It's going to expose sort of how fractured the structure is that supports Ghanaian musicians, because most people are primarily making money from shows. So can you imagine a lot of artists, no matter how much they're buzzing, especially younger artists, can you imagine what this period has been for them? So, I mean, I think I haven't costed it out, but it's been quite costly. And I think it's actually a time for us to figure out ways, and people who are interested in knowing that music and the creative ecosystem has a great contribution to the nation. It's time to actually band together and figure out new ways to resuscitate this thing, because otherwise we're going to go a couple of years backwards.
Do you think there are opportunities that you could have taken advantage of during this COVID? People talk about virtual concerts and all that. Or you do not think virtual concerts can really do as much as real concerts would have done, physical concerts?
I think the virtual concerts that were done were under the auspices of really people wanted something, people connecting to the artists they love, the music they love, as a point as relief, as catharsis in this period. But in terms of a business model, I mean, I know people like Erykah Badu did stuff that people pay $1 for, but in terms of a business model, it's not shown itself to be sustainable.
Have you tried something like that?
Not a paying thing, but I was involved with a couple of virtual concerts. MTV Bases Africa Day, I was one of the artists. Excuse me, I did that. I did one YouTube stay-at-home series. I think I've done at least 3 of them. I mean, these are of a minor scale, but I don't think in Ghana, look, it's going to be an interesting business problem to solve if we really are going to say, let's say for the rest of the year, the thing that can earn people money is virtual concerts, because people's willingness to even use their data to watch a YouTube video instead of just let somebody else download and send it to them. That's one thing already. Just even
the use of the economy of things.
Yeah. So I mean, in the digital space, there's a lot of opportunity for growth, but this is also certainly challenged people in the creative ecosystem to think of new ways to really power through and make revenue. Yeah.
This is Face to Face on City TV. My name is Omar Sandawa. My guest is a Medina boy, studied economics, decided to do rap. I don't know how he chose all of that, and he's working with it perfectly well so far.